Okay, here we're going to go ahead and do some atomic squats. You notice in this position, because the bar is wedged against the wall and the canter of the bar, she's got to get her hips back. There's nowhere else to go, so it's kind of a great way to learn how to really get your hips back and get into a great squat position. On pushing off of the ground, you notice at the top she's got good hip position, and again, because of the bar, you can't really overextend in that top position either. Of course, the abdominal chain gets worked quite a bit here because the weight is front loaded. It's another great way to incorporate more than just one discipline at a time for your training. Great job. Okay, this one we call the BOSU ball torture twist. Erin has her legs straight out in front of her. She has to dig her heels down into the ground. You can also use a wall so you have something to stabilize with your toes, or you could go without a wall, making it a little bit more challenging. So as she twists over, she's holding that position, really thinking about her obliques as she turns. So she's pulling with those obliques, those muscles on the sides of your core. And she just really wants to think about her hip positioning, making sure she's squeezing on her glutes so she's getting that rotation from her upper spine a little bit more. And so ultimately you're getting in a lot of great strength and stability for the entire core with this movement. Great job. Okay, we're gonna do dumbbell deadlifts here. And an advantage of dumbbell deadlifts is you can also use the dumbbells to be able to get a little bit more bracing and external rotation in your shoulders that you can't do with the bar as much, but also because you can start the position from the top, which can be a little bit easier to learn. And especially if you do have some lower back issues, things like that, it's a little bit easier to start to use these patterns from the top. So she's extending her hips and then squeezing her armpits down at the top, hinging as she goes down, push the ground away, and back to hip extension. Good. So a great way to really be able to train the butt and the hamstrings. Very, very safe and effective way to get some results for your glutes and hamstrings. Great job. Okay, here we're doing some weighted V-ups. This involves an upper body pullover, which is also nicknamed the squat for the upper body because it involves so many muscles in the upper body. Of course, we're working abs here. When she pulls over and up, she's going to show her butt, and that really involves a little bit more lower abs, and that way she gets in a really good range of motion. This is a great overall exercise to do. Great job. Okay, here we're doing heavy bar hip thrusters. You want to make sure that you're pushing the bar into your thighs as much as you can. You also notice we have just some padding around the bar that helps out a little bit if you do find it uncomfortable with just the bar. This is a great position to really start to work a little bit more on glute recruitment and of course hamstrings, a lot of hamstrings in this movement. This is also a great way to learn how to get into a little bit more of a weighted hinge. There's not a lot of risk in this movement. It's not hard on your joints, it's not hard on your knees. This is a great way to sort of build up some weight when you're doing a good hip hinge type of movement. This is a great choice. Okay, here we're doing some pikes. She has her hands in a good position. If you notice, thumbs are forward, but she's thinking about ripping the ground apart. Like if you have a piece of paper between your hands and you're trying to rip that ground apart. That's an important cue so that you remember to really brace through your shoulders in this position. All right, so you're pulling your hips up towards the ceiling. Excellent. And you're coming down with good control, making sure that you're not spilling your spine at any time, making sure you're not rotating through your hips in either direction, and just pulling your butt towards the ceiling. Excellent job. Just really focused on good breathing, making sure that your belly button stays tucked in towards your spine as you pull the ball up. Excellent job.